think of designing a questionnaire, basically we have discussed that we can keep some questions which can collect nominal data, ordinal data, interval scale data, and ratio data. So these are different form of attribute, and with this we can collect quantitative information. But how to design a questionnaire, how to design a survey, so that we'll discuss today, and then we will enter into unit 4. So here you see this we have discussed little bit, but let me put some more light on different sources of data collection. So we have two basic sources of data collection. One is primary data source, and second is secondary data sources. So it may depend upon your nature of research, the kind of project you have, the work you are doing. You may be needed sometimes secondary data, which is already got published, which has been there in depository, which has been there in the newspaper or different publication. So that would be the secondary information. Let me accept someone is. Okay. Now, is this visible? Yes, tell me, is this visible? No PPT is visible to you. Okay, okay. Let me see how to stop it. So you can see, and I'm just making it full size, and then we'll scroll down, then let me know if it is not going down, right? So from current slide, I hope this is fine now. So we have two sources, as I mentioned. We have been talking about primary data. So generally now if you see 70-80% scholar, they try to collect primary data, right, directly from the consumer or directly from the unit. Unit may be individual, unit may be a firm, unit may be an organization, unit may be a village, right? So they directly go there and collect information. The information we all try to collect in the form of quantitative information. But primary we can collect in qualitative also, like we go and do some interview, conduct some interview, right? Now as far as secondary information is concerned, we will discuss the different sources of primary and secondary sources as well. So secondary which already got published. So sometime when you go through review of literature, when you find out some issue or problem related with your research, so you have to go through research report which already got published, magazines, newspaper, and you check depository also, and from depository you procure a review of literature, right? So this is our general practice. And why we use secondary data? Just to support our research and to find out research gap also. So let us discuss these sources, and then we will move further with questionnaire design. Here you see different sources in primary and different sources in secondary data. Now I hope the second slide is with you. Everybody can see second slide. Okay, fine. So in primary data you can see we have a 5 method. First is observation, then survey, then questionnaire, interview, and experiment. On the other hand, when we talk about secondary data, here you can see already published material, syndicated services, and computerized database. So now a lot of organization, instead of publishing information annually in the magazine, what they do, they put all this information on computer database. For example, for assessment accreditation, Delhi University and all colleges of Delhi University, we used to send a paper copy or hard copy report. It used to be of a thousand, uh, more than pages to NAC, National Assessment Accreditation Council. Now they say you are not supposed to send us hard copy. Whatever data you have, it should reflect on your website. Whatever information you have in the report, it should reflect through your website. And all this report should be in the soft copy, should be available in the college website, right? So you might have noticed now that each and every department, each and every college of Delhi University, they keep record of all the meeting, all the activities, all the event. Not only keeping record, but they display this all information on their website. So now this all become computer database, right? So let us continue our discussion with primary data sources. So as you know, primary, which is first hand, first time you collected. An object of this is that actually you want to understand like, dislike, preferences, opinion. Whenever you think like this, you collect this kind of information. Now, in this kind of observation, generally, if you think of social science, social worker, they want to understand a particular phenomena. They comes to village, they comes to tribal area or rural interior area, and whatever actual things are happening, they observe it, right? Here I have given one example. Suppose you want to see how consumer behave while buying a car at the car dealer showroom. So you cannot understand the way they are behaving until and unless physically you go and observe the activities, right? Secondly, how do students behave in an examination room? So you can predict, you can estimate that, you can predict that this kind of things happens in the classroom. But until or unless physically you go and check physical classroom where we have a student examination is going on, without physically going there, you can't understand what would be going on when exam is going on, right? So it is actually entering into that field, entering into that phenomena, entering into that particular perspective or activity. So observation is pure information. Directly you see, you listen, you watch, you feel. The most important thing, not only you see and watch, you actually, through observation method, you feel that. Then you write all this phenomena, all this activity in your report, in your diary. So you have seen, uh, especially British people, they used to maintain a diary, and every day whatever activities take place, they used to write those activities in their diary. Same thing here also in India. A lot of people, they maintain a diary. Whatever activity event happens every day, they write in their diary. So that becomes actually some source of information. So a lot of time when we say that how you justify what argument they have given, so that is on the basis that a lot of people, they used to write in their diary. And when you observe something, please do mention that in your diary, that today this kind of phenomena, this kind of picture, this kind of activity, this kind of event I have been into, and this was my observation, this I hear, this I listen, this I saw, but this was my feeling. So you're up to such extent we have gone that we try to capture the real image, real picture, a real concept, or we call it actual phenomena. Hmm. So observation is pure information gathered by the observer, But when you go there, because we all are a human being, we have our own biases, right? So interpretation of the observed behavior may vary person to person. For example, recently I got a chance to visit a village, especially when the smoke was high in Delhi. So I decided to go to village. Over there also I noticed a lot of dust in the air, and when they cook food, especially not on this LPG gas cylinder, but on the chula, and they use fuel like wood and some other material as a fuel. So that also leads a lot of pollution. That also create a lot of pollution. So what is your perception when you think of a village? Your perception is that village would be pollution free, right? Good quality water, good life, right? But actually, when you observe and you stay and you see, what is your feeling now? So before you enter into that phenomena, you may have a particular perception, but when you go there and stay with them, your perception will be different. So, and development is so good that each and everybody they got LPG gas cylinder, each and every house they have toilet, right? Even they have good water supply, in the sense they have this water motor also, right? So they have facilities, but because surrounding area is full of dust, uh, and they cook their meal food on that chula, which leads a lot of you know pollution. So until and unless you go there, stay with them, see, observe what they do, and so this is what it give you some kind of understanding. It give you a real feeling that. But here, person can be biased. Person can be biased, and so because if suppose I am from urban area, my perception would be different. My attitude would be different towards village. If someone is there from village, his or her attitude would be different because they belong to that area. So same study, if two people conduct, a person from urban area and person from rural area, the observation would be different. I hope you now you understand what we have been talking about. So uh, here the personal biasness or your qualification, your understanding also matter a lot. Right. So, as a scholar, as a research scholar, what you need to do, you should behave like a video camera. Whatever actually going on, you just capture it. You don't need to be biased in that case. Okay. And just think of nearby country to India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal. You will be surprised to know that country, very small country like Bhutan, their happiness index is very high if you compare with the Asian country. How is it possible that a very small country with less infrastructure, they are the most happiest people on this earth as far as Asia is concerned? So, I mean, something you can't understand. So I have now decided that maybe in next year I will be visiting Bhutan to understand what is their social life, what kind of income they have, what kind of demographic profile they have, right? So until unless you go there, understand, see that feeling, you can't say that they are the happiest people. So on in the human index, in happiness index, they are on the top. So this is what this was observation. You observe something. Now we are into survey. So here we are going to collect information, like we collect data from lot of respondents towards a particular specific area with the help of a questionnaire. The main purpose of conducting a survey is to get the demographic profile, analyze their behavior, and to assess opinions, feelings, and thoughts of individuals towards a specific subject or area of interest. So you may have an area of interest that up to what extent you are happy with the online services. So you can conduct a survey, and your respondent could be on the one side students because they are learning online, they are studying online. On the other hand, the second segment could be teachers because they are also an integral part of online teaching and learning. So we can conduct a survey among students, we can conduct a survey among teacher, and can find out their opinion, their feelings, their thought towards online teaching and learning. So there may be exceptionals also, like exception like me. I enjoyed online teaching and learning because every day, not every day, twice in a week, I deliver online lecture to different places in India. So for me, physically traveling to these places is not possible, but it's a fun for me to speak online to different places in India. So that's a great thing. And for me, the other thing is that I'm learning with the help of YouTube and online workshop, online teaching learning workshop, online lecture, lot of new advanced things, advanced methodology, advanced pedagogy. So for me, I could be the exceptional one. I feel that should continue. We should continue as a online because now we are multitasking people, right? And simultaneously, we are performing other job also while we are into. So we the wastage of time is less. Commuting time is at all. You can see it's has come down. So survey may be conducted on internet nowadays. Generally, you might have noticed that a lot of research scholar, those who are doing their PhD and MPhil, they circulate their questionnaire through internet, through email, right, or through some social media platform. Sometimes they give you a call and take your feedback, right, and they ask 2 or 3 questions about your experience, about your satisfaction, about your opinion, or it could be face to face. So generally it used to be face to face when internet was not so common. So you used to go to a people, you go to respondent, you used to go to target customer, and used to collect information in terms of opinions, feelings, and their thoughts toward a particular specific subject or area of interest. So our next unit is actually survey design, how we conduct, how we do it. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about scientific way of conducting a survey, because survey is actually somewhere linked with questionnaire. So here you see our second part today discussion would be linked with developing a good questionnaire so that you can collect information, what information you are looking for. So questionnaire is a very common and famous method of primary data collection for a specific purpose research. So your research should be very specific towards a particular area. You are talking about service quality, you are talking about consumer preference, you are talking about consumer like dislike, but for a particular brand, particular product, particular goods, particular services. So a series of interlinked questions. So these questions which you keep in your questionnaire, either it should capture a particular phenomena within a domain, or it should talk about a individual profile, demographic profile, right? So we generally do like this. We start with individual profile and then we ask a question which are somewhere linked with a particular domain or which define a particular construct. So altogether, beside collecting information about individual demographic profile in terms of age, in terms of income, in terms of education, that is okay. These gender, right? Where do they live? These all demographic variable we collect, and then we collect their opinion in terms of or their attitude, their perception in terms of questions, and these questions are highly correlated with each other. If they are highly correlated, that means they are capturing a one common cause, one common variable, one common construct. So a series of interlinked questions are framed to get answers, opinion, and attitude of respondents towards a particular area of interest. So in general, close-ended and open-ended questions are framed to get response from the participants. So I hope this questionnaire is clear after the survey. Now let us move further. Next is interview. Very common method, interview. In the interview method of primary data collection, the interviewer asks a series of questions, while the interviewee gives interviewers to them, answer to them. It's a one-to-one conversation between the interviewer and the respondent. Interview may take place face-to-face via video conferencing and telephone. So generally, now you see a lot of students, when they get job, they are not supposed to physically visit a particular place. I remember in 2014 when I applied abroad for my higher study postdoc. So the university said that we are interested in taking your interview. So I asked, how will you take interview? I'm in India. So at that time there was a platform, Skype, Skype, something like that. Yeah, Skype was the platform, right? Then there is an institute called Entrepreneurship Development Institute in Gujarat. They had some collaboration with one German company, and this German company used to conduct lot of survey. So I directly contacted with the company that Delhi University is also interested in having some kind of collaboration with you. So if you are interested in doing some kind of data collection or research in India, then we can collaborate with you. So they say that, can we take your interview? I said, most welcome. So they had given me a link of Skype, and we interacted with each other through video conferencing. So sometime it could be a telephonic also, but people preference face to face because, and sometimes it's become a challenge also. Suppose you go from Delhi to Rajasthan or Uttar Pradesh. Like I visited Uttar Pradesh to conduct a research. I wanted to collect demographic profile of the villagers in Bulandshahr, Uttar Pradesh district. Then there is a challenge that if you visit a particular household, who will come out and who will talk to you? What kind of information they give you? So sometime you will see a male member will come and say that I will give you all information. You're not supposed to talk to my other family member. In some cases, a woman come out and they say that okay, it's absolutely fine. If you want to interview each and every member of my house, you are most welcome. So here I realize after 4 or 5 days that the whole village has been divided into caste based system. So in one particular area, if you see, even recently, I last week I visited a village. There also people told me that this area belong to this upper caste, this area belong to lower caste people. So still that casteism is prevailing in our rural areas. So talking to each and everyone in a family, in a household like this where bifurcation is there on the basis of caste, it becomes sometimes difficult because you cannot access to each and every member of a particular house. You cannot go and talk to each and everyone over there. So when I was visiting the whole village, I was trying to capture some movie or video. People, say that why you're taking this, what is the purpose? Are you from some government office or what? I said, no, I'm not from government office, but just for blogging purpose, I'm recording. So they say, okay, no issue. So here you can see, it's not necessary that you visit a particular place and you can access the information face to face. So sometimes it become a difficult, right? I remember when I had a IIT project and I visited these 5 villages. So people say that last time people like you came and they had taken away all our what you call solar panel light system, right? So this time you have come, you will take away something from here. I said, I'm not from this, I'm from Delhi University. So they say, show me your I card. Then they say that, do you know someone in this village? So I knew few people, so I asked them to come and talk to that people over there. So they said, we know, sir. So don't worry. So then we were allowed to make a survey. So it's not an easy job when you make an interview through face-to-face or video conferencing on telephone. So before entering into that area, you need to develop some kind of relationship. You need to build some kind of trust among the respondent. Then they allow you to give you an interview. Next, very important method of collecting information is experiment. Experiment is a kind of hands-on activity to get the response towards an activity or event. Experiment, generally we feel that it is in science. No, it's not always in science. In social science also we make some kind of experiment. For example, a researcher can collect responses from the participants to know the taste of a chocolate or the impact of training program. So generally, this was a kind of experiment. I told you I'm attending 6 month program. They had taken my blood sample and beside that they requested me to fill out one questionnaire. So on the basis of a training program, before and after the behavior or health, what kind of changes has what kind of changes you have seen after a particular stimuli, after a particular event. So in social science we call them experiment, right? So we are experiencing something after a training program, after a stimuli. Is it going to impact on your personality? Is it going to impact on a particular method or event or a process? So two kinds of variables we have now in social science experiment. We call them independent and dependent. So is there any change in dependent variable because of independent variable, right? So is there any change in the employees engagement because of training? So employees engagement would be dependent on what? On independent variable training. So we call this experiment in social science. So this is all about primary data. Now I hope you understand what we have been talking about. Even sometime when you take an interview and write a case study, that is also a kind of primary data. The first time you collected some information, you observe and have seen a particular phenomena, particular event, and explain it. That is also a kind of primary data. Now let us talk about secondary data sources. Secondary data which already got published. The main source of secondary data is reports published by central government, state government, department, councils. Like we have Tea Council, Coffee Council, Spice Council, Tea Board, Jute Board, right? So these different organizations, different for trading we have MMTC, another training we have STC. So these are organizations. Or for example, if suppose you want to know about export import, where we are exporting, where we are importing, so for that we have IIFT, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Now you want to know other, report on trades. So nowadays, the international trade fair is going on. International trade fair is under IITPO, International Trade Promotion Organization. So the head office is in this Pragati Maidan, and you wouldn't believe they have a library also. So if you are looking for some statistical data, report, directories, right, you can visit Indian Trade Promotion Organization at Pragati Maidan. They have one research center, they have library, and then you can access different reports, and then you can see if you are interested in producing a particular product, what kind of technology, what kind of supplier, what kind of competition we have, and where would be the demand of that product. And if you are looking for some kind of opportunity abroad, then we have State Trading Corporation, MMTC, and Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. So these organizations time to time publish a report, and they give you idea also that what may be the possible project in future which research scholar like you can help government organization to conduct and find out solution with the help of data collection. So I hope now things are clear to all of you that now we are moving from primary to secondary data. So here you will see the second method of secondary data. These are the services provided by independent body like big consultancy firm, KPMG, PwC, and these are private organization consulting firms, and they have been into this work, this business for many years. Like this, there have been a lot of international organization, national organization. So they collect data as a third party and supply it to the users. And if you feel that you need to have this kind of information, this kind of data you would be needed, then they can conduct a research for you. I remember recently I received a mail from one organization in Kerala. They say that this kind of government schemes are there. Are you willing to avail these services, these schemes? So I was very curious to know that how this organization, consulting firm, gonna help us to avail these government schemes. So they say that while you are trying to avail any government scheme, you need to send a proposal, right? You need to submit a proposal. So these private organizations assist us to prepare a project proposal, right? And they say that if you are not having such kind of facilities, then they can they charge some amount and can prepare a research proposal for you, and then you can submit it to the different organization. So they have been into this kind of research, they conduct this research, they collect data time to time and publish a report. And how these reports gonna help you when you conducting a research? See, you can have different argument and reasoning from review of literature, that why you are doing this research, what fascinated you to select this topic, why you have this interest in this particular topic. But you need some data also to support your reasoning, support your argument. And that broad data, broad information in terms of number, in terms of quantitative numbers, always comes from it comes from these organizations. So they say that okay, internet consumers in India. So they say these many billion people in the world, we have those who are using internet. What about India? So NESCOM or these big organizations will give you data. So now you have some idea that out of this much, these many this much population, these many people have been using internet. For what purpose they have been using? So on the basis of their analysis, you can see that these many people are using for education, these are using for shopping, these are using for business. So this overall information help you to justify the reasons why you are doing this research, because there may be some issue. For example, in online trading, online business, do you have some complaint also, and what is your grievances handling system, what is your complaint system? So if you are getting, for example, in insurance, if you see the website of insurance company and what is the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, IRDA, you will see a large thousands, millions of complaints every year, and they give you a track record of inform or the complaint, plus how did they resolve these complaints. So see, they give you us information that 80%, 90% cases they have resolved whatever complaint they had received. So who make this? Sometimes the organization itself, but many times they have this kind of syndicated organization services. Now next is, as far as secondary services is concerned, we have computer database. This source of secondary data is now very much in use, and if you want to know that who is the competitor of a particular brand, particular company, then from Google Analytics you can see that this particular organization is the competitor, what is their market share, what kind of products they have, what is their sale, is all you can get through Google Analytics and other online platforms. And not only this, they give you a real-time data that right now how many people are there with us. Like I can see how many people are here with us, right, in terms of number. So this is what a real-time data, and it helps us to give exact information, more appropriate information, and will help analysis, which help the marketer to take decision and make final strategies. So altogether, whether you are collecting primary information or secondary data, what is use of that? Basically, a manager going to use this information for decision making. And on the basis of this decision making, basically what we are trying to do, we are trying to implement the strategy, whether it's a generic or competitive or some other strategy. So before I enter into questionnaire design, so let us take break for 5 minutes. Right now it's 12:02. We'll meet at 12:10. Right, everybody? So next thing I thought I should discuss with you for next 10-20 minutes, a questionnaire design. So we discuss in primary data collection, we have a special tool called, or a method called survey. In a survey, the researchers uses a questionnaire to collect information from the respondents. And this questionnaire is considered to be a very effective tool to data collect in a short span of time with a large number of populations. So you can send your 4, 5, 10, 20 representative with questionnaire, and simultaneously they can visit different respondents and can collect the data. So this is a beauty that at the one point of time, and nowadays it has become fashion that on social media we float our questionnaire. A lot of people they respond at one point of time. So the analysis of this data helps to take decisions and frame strategies in an organization. Now here, very important thing, how do we see that what should be the good questionnaire? So a good questionnaire should have the following features. First, validity. Validity we already have discussed, I hope you remember. The validity of questionnaire can be gauged from its ability to serve the object it has been meant for. So subject means what you are going to capture, that it should reflect on. A respondent should be able to understand the questionnaire and its objectives. To make a questionnaire valid, it should be reviewed by a team of experts and test it through a pilot test. So it will give you some kind of validity. And what could be the role of expert? They can tell you that these are right questions to capture a particular phenomena, right? Second, reliable, that we already have discussed. Reliability means researcher should get the same answer to the questions if it is asked again and again to the same respondent in a short span of time. So today you conduct a research, after some time you conduct a research, you're gonna have same result because it's your questionnaire is, your questions are reliable, so reliable that if you ask after some time, the answer remain same. So through test and retest, the consistency, so it would be about reliability, would be about consistency of the questionnaire we can verify with. So variation in the answer may be due to the lack of clarity of a question, which should be accordingly clear or rephrased. So this is very common mistake when you make a survey, when you design your questionnaire. It's very important that how do you frame your questions, how do you frame your items. It should be framed in such a way the message you want to convey to your respondents, same message they understand, and the way you want them to reply, they reply accordingly. Next, your questionnaire should be interesting. Interesting means the questions methods in the questionnaire should be interesting so that the respondents can give answer to the maximum number of questions. Generally what happens whenever you have more than 20, 30, 40 questions, people feel that should I read it all or should I skip? What should I do? But it should be so interlinked, it should be so interesting that a person cannot afford to leave any question. To make a question entirely, it should be logical, and so logical means it should be connected, and you should ask a relevant questions, very simple questions, so that they can understand it. Here you see the next thing which reflect on good questionnaire. It should be simple and straightforward. So researchers should not use questions with vague or ambiguous or technical terms. Sometimes technical terms people don't understand. And double barrel types of question. Right? The wording of the questionnaire should be easy to understand and it should not represent technical jargons. So if any technical term is being used, then these terms must be defined to make a respondent understand what researcher is asking for. So here you see how to design a good questionnaire. I'm just going a bit fast now. You can see know your target market, what plan, what to measure, understand the conceptual framework, asking questions, ordering questions, design questionnaire keeping in mind the analysis and format of the questionnaire. So you start with know your target markets. Who gonna be your respondent? So before designing the questionnaire, researcher must know the target market or audience or respondents who will fill out the questionnaire. This will help the researcher to use proper terminology and the questions will be asked in more effective way. So you must know who gonna be your target market. Next, plan what to measure. So what you are measuring? Are you measuring the demographic profile or a particular variable or a construct? So researcher must understand what he wishes to analyze and accordingly should capture the data or information through questionnaire. The main objectives the main objectives, research questions and hypotheses should be clear before writing the questionnaire. So you should know what hypotheses you wanna define or frame, what research questions you wanna frame, right? Accordingly you should design your questionnaire. So to understand what to measure, the researcher should go through exploratory research which will give relevant variables. That means you go through review of literature, what kind of literature available, what kind of theory, what kind of logic, what kind of variables available. It will give you a relevant variable and also through similar kind of study to understand the research in depth. Then understand a conceptual framework of research. So this is basically uh, a researcher need to understand the conceptual theory behind a problem and should define main question dependent and independent variable. For example, suppose an organization wishes to understand what is the best way to implement management information system in an organization. Uh, because the whole environment is dynamic, and on the one side we have limited resources, on the other side the whole dynamic is whole environment is so dynamic. So how to keep your management information system updated so that we can take right kind of decision? So here the main dependent variable will be efficiency and performance of the system, and independent variable would be strategy, task, organization size, culture, and many others. Next we have asking question. You need to understand how and what questions you're gonna frame. So in this step, in designing a questionnaire, design questionnaire should be reliable and valid, and reliable and valid answer may be collected from respondent. These questions can be open-ended or close-ended form, and you understand close-ended and open-ended. In close-ended questions, researchers give them a choice to answer, but in open-ended questions, respondents have to give detail without any already defined preferences. And then order of the questions, which questions to keep at which place, which sequence. So the ordering of questions is very important, and there must be a logic. While asking questions, sometimes the researchers give demographic questions in the initial stage of a questionnaire and sometimes at the end of a questionnaire. The instructions given in the questionnaire should not be confusing. Then we have design questionnaire keeping in mind the analysis. So what analysis you gonna make? Accordingly, you should design your questionnaire. So if it is association, then nominal is okay. Nominal kind of questionnaires are okay, right? T-test. So you need to see what kind of test you're gonna use, what kind of analysis you're gonna do with the help of information you're gonna collect. So through questionnaire, different form of data is collected like nominal, ordinal, ratio, and scale. So before designing a questionnaire, researcher must decide what kind of analysis he is interested in. Accordingly, questions should be designed to collect different kind of data, and most of the time researchers use Likert scale to collect data on beliefs, values, and attitude, etc. And then format of the questionnaire. A view of the questionnaire also play a very important role in terms of giving answer to the different questions asked in the questionnaire. The title, objectives, information about how to fill out the questionnaire must be given in the starting so that the respondent can answer as per the requirement. Generally what happens, researchers find out advanced techniques, and it would be very cumbersome to understand that questions, not only a question, the way you need to give answer, that is also very cumbersome. So you don't understand. So then what you do, without understanding you gave the answer. So this is not the right way. You need to explain. For example, in ranking, I receive a questionnaire where they say that rank 1 to 100, but they didn't mention whether 1 is the highest or 100 is the highest. So sometimes it happens. So you need to explain each and every point. So the questionnaire should not be very lengthy, otherwise respondent will not give proper. So nowadays it has become fashion because we have to use in a statistical tools and technique. So you will see a questionnaire with 90 questions, 80 questions, 70 questions. If we go beyond 30, I mean, it would be very difficult for a person to give response because they lose their concentration and they don't give the right answer. And here you see different types of questions we ask. Open questions, to get information in detail. Our researchers can use open-ended questions, especially in exploratory research. Please tell your main strength for this particular job, different strengths. Here you don't have, very limited option, but unlimited option as you wish. The list question, a type of question where researcher is sure that respondent will have to answer from the listed option. So which option is mother tongue? So you can give 10 out of 10, they have to select. Category questions, where when the answer or response of a question can fit into a limited category. In the case of attribute towards attitude, belief and values, for example, how frequently do you visit your bank branch? So once in a month, fortnightly, once in a week. So you have a limited choices. Then we have ranking. So you have to rank when you plan to buy laptop. So which preference, which particular feature you would like to give first ranking, second ranking. So when you think of buying a laptop, for you price is most important, RAM is the most important, or the brand is the most important. So accordingly you can give 1, 2, 3, 4, a size or a warranty. This would be the ranking. Then rating. Here you see like as a like it scale. You believe that sales promotion of a brand A will help you to buy a product within a month. So you can say disagree, agree, not sure. So when we collect like, dislike, right? Researcher can use rating questions mostly on the like it scale. Here we have matrix collaboration of two. Here you can see SMS alert. So how would you rate our internet banking facility? So here you can see we have on the one side option and on the other side very poor, poor, good, very good, and don't use services. Right? So matrix gives an opportunity to get response or data in two or more items generated under the one questions. Right? And then finally quantity questions. So this is about age, distance, time. It's exact information actually. So these are different types of questions. So with this, your questionnaire designing is over, and thank you very much for your patience. And now we are ready to enter into the next unit. So we are done with the third unit. So next time, I mean on Monday, we'll start with our fourth unit. And I hope within 3 or 4 classes, we'll be done with the fourth unit also. So thank you very much for joining today.